I'm back with another video. It's the one only Swiss Media TV, aka Swiss V Millie, Swiss Virtual Million. Millie. That's my nickname. Or my future name or whatever. Or my virtual name, whatever you want to call it. Well, on today's video, I'm doing a reaction video to what's going on with the UFOs and the UFO whistleblower and like more. So stay in tune with me. If you into UFO and into spirituality and all that stuff, and you know, if you want to know the truth about what's going on, stay in tune with me. I may not have the truth, but you know, my opinion could be my truth. Anyways, let's get to the video, y'all. Let's get to the video. Whoa. Oh, that's good. Ready to rumble. Okay. So yeah, I've been seeing what's going on in the news, and I haven't been feeling like making videos, but you know, I'm trying to be consistent in this platform, so I decided to get on here for y'all. Well, anyways, we're gonna search up the topic of today. We're gonna see what's going on, man.
Most people have no clue that in 2023, the best way to make money on Amazon is not with physical products. It's Amazon's other company.
In recent reporting, author Michael Schellenberger writes that multiple sources have confirmed whistleblower David Grush's claim that the United States government possesses a number of non-human vehicles. These sources are, quote, either high-ranking intelligence officials, former intelligence officials, or individuals who could be verified as being involved in the United States government UAP efforts for 3 or more decades, according to his reporting.
Schellenberger writes that the individuals said they had seen or been presented with, quote, credible and verifiable evidence that the U.S. government and U.S. military contractors possess at least 12 or more alien spacecraft, some of which they...
Let me pause this real quick. I can't hear shit for some reason. Oh, fuck, man. Let me see if I have to take this shit off. Fuck, man. This shit is crazy. Haven't been on the computer for a couple days and I feel like I already forgot this shit. I hope I can hear the video now. If not, I'm gonna be mad.
Shared with AARO or the All Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, quote, which AARO has refused to provide Congress. The office reportedly said it has not discovered any verifiable information and, quote, because it does not have the authority to verify it and may not want to verify it. Joining us now to discuss is Twitter Files author and author of Apocalypse Never, Michael Schellenberger. Thank you for being with us, Michael.
Good to be with you.
So, confirmation, aliens are real. This is exciting. What do you make of the baker's dozen of alien spacecraft that we have?
Well, I think it's worth just pointing out that this is very shocking. The whistleblower in question, David Grush, used a term ontological shock, which is a little bit of jargon, but what he means is that the idea that we are not alone in the abstract is something that everybody, I mean, not everybody, but many people, the large majority of people agree with, that we are almost certainly not alone in the universe. However, the idea that there may already be contact or have been contact for quite a while between the US military and non-human intelligence, non-human life forms is very shocking. And it's shocking for me personally. There's things I kept out of the story that I think were just too shocking and certainly harder to confirm. But I do think it's clear that the conversation about this has progressed from the idea that the Pentagon simply has some videos to a large and growing number of people with reason to know who say that in fact there are non-human spacecraft.
That is very intriguing that there's things that you left out of the story. I hope that you'll continue to investigate them. I'm wondering how exactly these sources determined that these crafts were non-human. Was it the material
this shit is
they
crazy.
were made out of?
Everything I have to do,
the method
man.
of construction? How exactly did they make
live
that
streaming is hard,
determination?
folks. Don't live stream you by yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there wasn't much doubt. There are programs, according to these folks, that exist to not just study these technologies, but attempt to reverse engineer them. There was some, disagreement or different levels of knowledge about the success in that. Certainly, the idea had been that there was efforts to try to operate these craft or reverse engineers to create them. There's one very interesting story, which is that a major aerospace company apparently tried to involve greater civilian scientists and engineers to reverse engineer the vehicles because the stovepiping or compartmentalization that exists really prevents the kind of innovation and sharing of knowledge that's actually essential to being able to achieve scientific.
If you watch this video, can you comment down below? If you know how to use OBS Studio, comment down below. I need help. I need help setting on my stream.
By the Pentagon. So these are extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. At the same time, extraordinary claims, you don't need extraordinary evidence to simply investigate them. And the claim here is that these craft are real physical objects. This is not a mass hallucination, that they exist in specific military bases or in contractor facilities, and that members of Congress could go and actually find these facilities or go and actually make sure they get their way in there and try to find these craft themselves.
So obviously this is amazing that we have the craft at all, but I can't help but wonder, were there pilots of the craft? Do we know anything about that?
Now the government is just coming out with this, but I been knew there was aliens. I been knew there was aliens in outer space since I was little. Everybody's been knowing this since the Roswell incident in 1947 in New Mexico. Everybody's been knowing about this. Why you think the elite's been making cartoons about space and all that and all this stuff? You feel me? Because they knew some sort of information.
Is there anything you can say to that effect?
David Grush, the whistleblower, did say on News Nation that there were, in some cases, non-human pilots.
What?
I did have confirmation of that from one of my sources. I kept it out of the story in part because it was one source, and also I felt like I really wanted to established that there is strong evidence that there are craft, and I didn't want to get too much into what I had been told about the different potential of there being beings. It's a lot of ontological shock with just the craft, and I felt like, let's just give this a minute and let's spend a little bit more time doing this reporting. I would also say I'm not the only person that's interviewing these folks. There are other people in my article. I mentioned former Assistant Defense Secretary Christopher Mellon mentioned at least 4 witnesses. I think he said in his article.
The aliens are here. Do y'all actually believe that?
Those are the same.
YouTube community, do you actually believe the aliens are here, or do you think they pump faking? Do you think this is all capped? Do you think they gassing up? And if there's a fake alien invasion, I was one of the first ones to say it here. There might be a fake alien invasion going on. So if you hear it for the first time, and I'm saying this, then and it happens, then let people know I was one of the first ones, alright? That knew what was gonna happen. Thank you.
People I spoke to, we don't share information with each other, but there's more people that are finding the courage to speak. They're very scared. They don't want to lose security clearance, and they're also worried about retaliation. And David Grush, as you know, the whistleblower, felt like he needed to go to Congress because he was subject to retaliation.
I actually have chills right now hearing that there were potentially non-human pilots that were recovered along with the craft. That suggests to me that these were craft that crashed in some way, and that's how the U.S. military was able to recover them. Is that correct?
Don't buy another pair of glasses until you've seen what this new invention can do. These self-adjustable
Well, actually, that's there are cases of that. There are people that say that there were crashes. There's also cases of what they call this a retrieval program. There's also cases, I was told, of craft being abandoned and craft making its way into U.S. military hands in other ways. And so I think that it's not just there is crash evidence, but there's also other mechanisms in which these craft have been obtained by the U.S. military.
So it sounds like, from what you're saying, your contacts are based in the United States. You've talked to
the aliens are making the planet more warmer. That's what I think.
This figure, 12 or more, is specific to the crafts obtained by the U.S. military. Do we know anything more about potential crafts or pilots globally?
Well, Grush, the whistleblower, said in his statements that there is competition between the United States, China, and Russia in terms of developing reverse engineering these technologies. I should say that was not something I was able to confirm, and it wasn't that people disconfirmed it or denied it. It was just that the people I spoke to did not know that if Russia or China had these technologies or similar craft. I would also say, just on a personal level,
all the government in the world got new crafts that's similar to UFOs. All the governments in the world, they all working together. They all inspiring together to take us down, take us society, regular people down. All the governments is part of the Great Reset and the New World Order. Big facts. That's my opinion, and you cannot change that. You don't see what's going on in society? With all the drug addicts and violence and sex trafficking and negativity. It's crazy out here. But guess what? It's gonna get better. So don't worry about it. But yeah. They acting like they acting like this is new. The media. They been knew this, but the government just waited for a perfect time to talk about it. They think now is the year to talk about aliens. We should have been talking about aliens in the early 90s. That's my opinion.
I feel comfortable doing this story in part because of Grush's whistleblower testimony. Like the people I interviewed, I felt like somebody needed to kind of speak up and say that what he's saying is not unusual, that you can find a fair amount of people that will talk about this off the record, or in my case, not for attribution. I will say I haven't written any commentary about the piece itself. I am planning on writing more about it, but I have actually been interviewing people for several years and only felt comfortable at this point, and in part I felt obliged to share this research and to go back to folks but I've been talking to folks for a long time.
More than 12 alien crabs they have. Damn, they stacking up on those spaceships.
Nuclear energy is a dual-use technology. And
the aliens are here, my niggas, so do whatever the fuck you want to do in this world.
A lot of evidence of UFOs, or what have been rebranded UAPs.
But do it in a righteous way, in a positive way.
A significant amount of interaction of these UAPs and UFOs, including the most famous alleged crash in history, occurred around nuclear weapons test sites and also nuclear weapon sites.
Is there any connection, Michael, between this existence of the UFOs or the non-human entities and nuclear research?
There's definitely,
of course,
something going on that I certainly don't entirely understand. There's, in fact, there's a major book. I've interviewed the author of it, called UFOs and Nukes, that describes many cases of anomalous UFO activity around nuclear weapons sites, but there's also been significant UFO sightings and reports around nuclear power plants. The nature of those interactions.
By the way, I'm new to YouTube, so please hit this like button
behind those craft,
comment, and check out my other
some
videos.
Concern around these sites. I'm very reluctant to get too far into it, in part because I'm a big supporter of nuclear energy. I think it's the only way to really address climate change and other important environmental issues. So, but nonetheless, nuclear obviously is as a weapon.
Grubhub Plus members save more on the food they love with new
the
cost-saving member benefits.
Here now.
Plus,
They've been
$0
here.
delivery fees on eligible orders.
Who do you think
and
helped us build the pyramids?
Offers. Join Grubhub Plus today. If you have Prime.
Look at that. Trying to run away from the green dot. It's like no, they found me, I gotta get low. I saw that little UFO, I'm thinking. I wanna know how the fuck you drive one of those spacecraft. Since I was little, I wanted to know how to drive a spacecraft. But I know I need to start by driving planes before I get to the space shuttle and spacecraft and spaceships and shit. One day I would love to be in the passenger seat or in the driver's seat of that
Mannaggia, non sto alla video, No, Angelica, guarda, si sta aprendo. Oh mio Dio. Guarda.
No.
Oh mio Dio, signore. Che c'è questa cosa?
Perché dal cellulare si vede così?
No. No, guarda, mo adesso.
Oh my god. Some of these UFO videos I haven't seen, but I've seen some of them. 5, 10 years, they keep coming back. They keep coming back, and the more UFO sightings year after year is increasing. Maybe they trying to stop us from going to World War III, or maybe they trying to start it. Who knows? Totally bizarre stuff, man. After this video, I'm gonna take you to somebody named Billy Carson. He knows all about space. He knows all about the pyramids. He knows all about the secret societies and all that stuff. So we're gonna tap in with him and we're gonna see what he thinks about all this. Also, damn, this man fucking hot outside, man. Shit. So much we don't know. Look, even in the air traffic radar, in the navigation systems, I don't know what you call that, but it's like where they sense the radar, the air control, air traffic control. It's even popping up on their radar, and they cannot even hide it. They coming to New York. They're coming to New York soon.
If you're over 40 and struggling to lose weight, it's incredibly important that you stop what you're doing and listen up. This will change your life.
It's like an orb, man. Look at that shit. It's pulsating. Oh, this is awesome. And he's gone on T-Cash, man. Well, I can tell Rita now. There it is. Well, there it is. Right there, man, on my end. There's our... Oh, here's another one right here. You see him? Flying right over our heads. Pointing it right at him. And now he's turning. Yeah. Yeah, you see him?
Yeah, he just flashed.
I'm lasering at him.
We're gonna go to Billy Carson now. What Billy Carson got to say about this?
One of the most interesting topics that you probably have answered many a times, which was your encounter with extraterrestrials, right? What was the first time, I know you're a young kid, that you saw a UFO? What was that like?
First time was 1977. We had just moved to Miami, Opelika, and we were renting this little house right off of 22nd Avenue.
Seen a UFO.
I think it was 153rd Street. I'm in the backyard playing because, you know, there's nothing to do back then but play outside. You had to play outside. I'm outside playing, but we live next to the Opelika Airport.
But he's mad
not too
smart,
far away. So you can see the planes take off and they
I
would
don't,
go
I don't
across
believe
the sky.
everything like he says.
Clearing the horizon in
Sometimes you gotta
minutes,
bring
right?
proof,
So you can see a plane, you know, these small planes making a lot of noise, prop jets, you know, prop planes, I mean.
Well, I believe,
and then just
you know,
one day I'm out there
aliens are
playing,
real.
I'm just
I
doing
believe
cartwheels
they got
and flips
something
and
to do
doing
with
dumb
the
stuff in the back.
I believe
And this thing goes
aliens and the Anunnakis
across
and those
the sky,
stories, I
like
believe some of
literally
those
in
stories.
seconds. Now, even as a kid, 7 years old, I know that's impossible for a plane. I'm like, wow. And then it came back, and then it stopped, but it was much lower this time. It was oval, looked like glowing metal, glowing silver metal, completely silent, no sound, and boop, just gone in the opposite direction. And I ran around the house, I ran in the house, I told my mother. She wasn't shocked. She said, yeah, the advanced beings can visit here all the time. This is in the 70s, my mother told me this. She told me, you got to go to Machu Picchu because beings that used to live, not ancient, she said ancient advanced beings used to live on top of the mountains there, which is why I dedicated this book to her. And I talk about that in the beginning of the book.
Yeah.
I went to the elementary school the next day, Rainbow Park Elementary, which is right down the street. And I asked my teacher if I could go to the library. She said, what for? I said, I need to look in the encyclopedia for a book report for my parents. And I said, oh yeah, no problem, go ahead. So you sent me to the library. I go in there and I get the Encyclopedia Britannicas on aerospace. I'm looking for what I saw.
Yeah.
Swept wing, delta wing, ballistics, intercontinental ballistics. I'm looking at what back then would have been, you know, top secret stuff that had been now declassified, like the SR-71 and all this other stuff. And I don't see anything even close to what I saw in my backyard. But that took me down a whole path of investigation into aerospace. And I kind of became an aerospace historian because of that. Fast forward into the future, years and years and years later, I'm working on this huge project out in, it's in Northwest Georgia. I can't give the exact location. It was on the History Channel, but the location even on the History Channel wasn't given up because it's the location of an underground city that I built.
Yeah, we can get into that.
Yeah, it's called Fort Terranova. So the reason why I'm bringing it up is because at the time that I'm building this underground city, these TV companies are calling me and everything, they want to know what I'm doing. And I had this encounter. I'm thinking maybe it's connected. Maybe they saw what I was doing and maybe, you know, that triggered. I don't know what it was. I'm trying to figure out why me and why at the time.
Do you believe that he built the underground city? Wow. This guy Billy Carson, there's so much to him.
I'm in my
You
house
just gotta like
after working on that
research him
project
and
all
watch
day
his
again.
videos to understand him.
I'm looking at ESPN, getting updates around 9 o'clock p.m. I'm not even close to tired. My whole family's at home. At the time I was married and had kids in the house. And the house, while I'm looking, the house just kind of turns lavender. It's like, ooh, and the TV just shuts off. And I thought my boys were playing a joke on me, so I looked over my left shoulder, and there was nobody upstairs in that corner, which is where the boys are. Boys on one side, girls on the other. I'm like, what the hell? So when I turned my face back around, those typical gray aliens were right in front of my face, like, you know, the ones you see with the big eyes and all that.
Yeah.
The eyes, to me, I don't think they were biological. They look like coverings of some type.
Okay.
You know, they look like material.
Maybe like a helmet.
It wasn't, I don't know. The eyes, just the eyes themselves looked like they were attached. It was weird. And then slit for the eyes, slit for the nose and ears and all that. Long dangly hands, long dangly legs. I'm sitting in a chair, a couch. I'm sitting on a couch about maybe a little lower than this because it's, you know, a comfortable couch to watch TV. So they must have been, maybe I'm 6'4", so maybe they were close to 4 feet tall, right? But they were, because they were standing up and I was sitting down, and they were like within inches of my face. And then my brain literally started shaking inside of my skull. I was trying to scream, no sound was coming out, and nobody could hear anything. I couldn't even hear my own voice. And then as quick as it started, it stopped, and they turned around and they don't walk, they kind of dangle, they kind of bounce. It was weird. I don't know if it's they don't walk like we're walking. It was almost like a dangle or a bounce, and they went through the wall, and the lights came on, the TV came back on, and we're running around the house. And all it did was scare everybody. My wife at the time was horrified and scared. She was already horrified about the stuff I was already researching it into, because, you know, they come from a religious background with the, you know, what do you call that, the Jehovah's Witnesses and all that. Her parents were. One of my sons, still to this very day, we really aren't that close from that one incident, and many other things that, you know, you see me researching and studying, and knowing what I do on, you know, in social media and stuff like that. He said, I'm afraid. So I don't have a strong connection with him. Hey, that literally scared a lot of them, and I ended up, I was already on the way to a divorce, but that kind of was like, it was the nail in the coffin.
Yeah.
So I got nothing out of it, made no money off of it, didn't talk about it for a very, very long time, until other people started coming to me and telling me about their experiences, and that nobody would listen. And I realized if I start opening up, maybe other people can then feel comfortable opening up.
True.
And it started this process. Because in the colored community, man, blacks and colored people of different color, talking about UFOs and stuff is like, man, you're crazy. Yeah. That's like one thing you don't do, right?
Leave that to the white people.
No. So if it came from a white person, it'd be like, oh, it's normal. Billy's just doing his thing. He's telling you, but coming from black people, man, are you crazy?
Crazy, yeah.
I mean, I've had people attack me for, in the beginning, but now a lot more people of color are starting to come around and start to realize, oh, wait a minute. I can't openly talk about this and not feel ashamed or feel embarrassed or feel crazy. So that's why I came out with the information. That's something that happened to me. Now, what the side effect of that was two things. The first thing was, after it happened, the phrase worldwide telescope kept burning in my brain over and over again. Worldwide telescope, over and over, thousands and thousands of times.
Really?
So finally I go to my computer and I pull up excite.com, because Google wasn't the main one back then. It was Excite or Alta Vista. And I type in worldwide telescope. Boom, search. First result, worldwidetelescope.org pops up. I'm like, oh my God, it's a real thing. I click on it. It's software you can install. All the space probe data from all the missions that have gone into space are in this thing that all of our tax dollars have paid for, and all the public access. It's all there.
Yeah.
So I go and I log in. I go, okay, I don't know. I see Mars. I click on Mars. I go, oh, panoramas. I click on panoramas. The next thing pops up is Spirit Opportunity Rover. I go, I'll click on Opportunity Rover. I go in, I zoom in. It lets you zoom in from like the perspective of the mast cam that's on the rover. I zoom in, and I'm panning left and right, and I see things that don't look like they belong on Mars. Anomalies, things that shouldn't be there, like broken things or things that look like pieces of machinery or something.
Yeah.
And I'm looking, I'm like, what the hell is this? So I go back out, I research this thing, I find, oh, this is real space probe data. I go back in again and I go through every single panorama. I start finding anomalies all over the place. That's how I got into space anomalies.
Let's look at David Grush, whistleblower. He's gonna talk about the phenomenon, what happened in 2009 when he was in the army. Do you find all these stories real?
Mr. Chairman, ranking members and congressmen, thank you. I'm happy to be here. This is an important issue, and I'm grateful.
I believe him.
My name is David Charles.
Shit, they might take him out or play with his money after this.
Both in the U.S. Air Force, both active duty, Air National Guard, and Reserve.
You see the guy right there in the right? The guy right there in the right? Let me see, in the left. The guy right there in the left with the beard, he's a movie director for a lot of UFO movies and stuff like that. And he's a believer. He's probably a UFO believer too. And he's there with this guy. So it's strange that a movie director's there with this government guy. But, let's watch this video.
From 2021 to 2025, or excuse me, 2023. At the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, NGA, at the GS-15 civilian level, which is the military equivalent of a full bird colonel. I was my agency's co-lead in unidentified anomalous phenomena and transmedium object analysis, as well as reporting to the UAP task force, UAPTF, and eventually, once it was established, the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, AARO. I became a whistleblower through a PPD-19 urgent concern filing in May 2022 with the Intelligence Community Inspector General. Following concerning reports from multiple esteemed and credentialed current and former military and intelligence community individuals that the U.S. government is operating with secrecy above congressional oversight with regards to UAPs. My testimony is based on information I've been given by individuals with a long-standing track record of legitimacy and service to this country, many of whom also have shared compelling evidence in the form of photography, official documentation, and classified oral testimony to myself and my various colleagues. I have taken every step I can to corroborate this evidence over a period of 4 years while I was with the UAP task force and do my due diligence on the individual sharing it. This is because of these steps, I believe strongly in the importance of bringing this information before you. I am driven by a commitment of both to truth and transparency, rooted in our inherent duty to uphold the United States Constitution and protect the American people. I'm asking Congress to hold our government to this standard and thoroughly investigate these claims. But as I stand here under oath now, I am speaking to the facts as I've been told them. In the U.S. Air Force, in my National Reconnaissance Office, NRO, reservist capacity, I was a member of the UAP Task Force from 2019 to 2021. I served at the NRO Operations Center on the Director's Briefing Staff, which included the coordination of the Presidential Daily Brief and supporting a variety of contingency operations, which I was the Reserve Intelligence Division Chief backup. In 2019, the UAP Task Force Director asked me to identify all special access programs and controlled access programs, also known as SAPs and CAPs, we needed to satisfy our congressionally mandated mission, and we were direct report at the time to the DepSecDef. At the time, due to my extensive executive level intelligence support duties, I was cleared to literally all relevant compartments and in a position of extreme trust, both in my military and civilian capacities. I was informed in the course of my official duties of a multi-decade UAP crash retrieval and reverse engineering program, to which I was denied access to those additional read-ons when I requested it. I made the decision, based on the data I collected, to report this information to my superiors and multiple inspectors general, and in effect becoming a whistleblower. As you know, I've suffered retaliation for my decision, but I am hopeful that my actions will ultimately lead to a positive outcome of increased transparency. Thank you, and I'm happy to answer your questions.
Do you want to learn how to trade? My son and I just finished putting on a conference for our trading students. We have been showing them how to trade in the current market. We've helped a lot of people.
My fault, I'm not talking. I don't know what to say. Anyways, so I'd rather not talk. I'm just watching these videos with y'all.
Unidentified anomalous phenomena, or UAPs, will come to order. Welcome, everyone. Without objection, the chair may declare a recess at any time. Additionally, without objection, the following member.
Does America know about aliens? Does it have proof about alien UFOs? And is it hiding that proof? I ask because a sensational claim is making waves. Listen to this.
UAP are in our airspace, but they are grossly underreported. These sightings are not rare or isolated, they are routine.
UFOs are real, he says, and no, this is not from a Hollywood film. This happened in the US Congress. This claim was made by a group of lawmakers. They were told that America knows about aliens, although as you heard, he used a different term, non-human beings, also unidentified aerial phenomena. Trust Americans to be dramatic. They're talking about aliens and UFOs. And who are these speakers? Former members of the US defense establishment. They worked for the Pentagon. Some flew military planes, others analyzed intelligence. This week they appeared before American lawmakers from both parties. They're conducting hearings, apparently to find out the truth about aliens. So they've summoned witnesses, and these proceedings have attracted global interest for obvious reasons. We heard the testimonies, they're extraordinary. Take, for example, the testimony of a man called Ryan Graves. He's a former American Navy pilot. He told lawmakers about a training session. No dates were mentioned, but here's how the story.
The world doesn't care what happened.
Two F-18 Super Hornets were in the air. They were flying in formation. Suddenly, a UFO. Does America know about aliens? Our next account is from a man called David Fravor. He's a retired US Navy commander. He too delivered a testimony. Fravor was once flying an F-18 jet, and he noticed something strange.
As we looked around, we noticed that we saw some white water off our right side. It's important to note that the weather on this day was as close to perfect as you could ask for off the coast of San Diego. Clear skies, light winds, calm seas, no whitecaps from waves. So the whitewater stood out in a large blue ocean. All four of us, because we were in F-18Fs, so we had pilots and Wizzo in the back seat, looked down a saw a white tic-tac object with a longitudinal axis pointing north-south and moving very abruptly over the water like a ping-pong ball.
A small white object moving over the water like a ping-pong ball, he says. At the risk of sounding repetitive, let me remind you, this is not from a movie. All these testimonies happen in real life, and we saved the most sensational one for the last. The third witness, his name is David Grush. He's a former intelligence official. He worked in the US Defense Department, that's their defense ministry, and what did he do there? He was on a task force about UFOs, so perhaps he knows better than all the others. And what did Grush say? He said America has had long-standing covert programs, some date back to the 1930s. And he then went on to talk about aliens. He told lawmakers that the US government has some materials, they are of quote-unquote non-human origin, and they were taken from some crash sites. Listen to this.
Has the U.S. government become aware of actual evidence of extraterrestrial, otherwise unexplained forms of intelligence? And if so, when do you think this first occurred?
I like to use the term non-human. I don't like to denote origin. Keeps the aperture open, both scientifically. Certainly, like I've discussed publicly.
The same shit they said in 1947.
Again,
New Mexico, Roswell. They're saying right now, so they was right.
And Grush had
so
more
back
to
in
say.
the days, oh, they was right. All them time, the History Channel was talking about all this alien shit. They was right.
I have that statement with me. Listen to this. I was informed in the course of my official duties of a multi-decade UAP crash retrieval and reverse engineering program to which I was denied access. So he did not see it for himself, but he claims the program did exist. And this is quite a claim. The Pentagon has been quick to rubbish it. They have, in fact, released a rebuttal. Let me quote from it. The Defense Department Task Force does not have any verifiable information to substantiate claims that any programs regarding the possession or reverse engineering of extraterrestrial materials.
Yes, they do. They do have information. The Pentagon, they stay lying. NASA, never a straight answer. They stay lying. Don't believe none of this shit,
have existed in the past.
And that's my opinion. Because how the fuck you think we got the atomic bomb?
In other words,
who you think
the Pentagon says it does not know anything.
Whatever that guy, the guy that created it, who you think he got the blueprints
like a
from?
far-fetched idea. And look at the careful choice of words. Non-human doesn't really mean alien. It could even be a plant or a sample of something else maybe. So there is still little tangible evidence except for videos like this one. These are unclassified videos. They were part of a US intelligence report.
Oh my gosh, dude. Wow, look at that, man. Look at it fly. Dude, this is a fucking drone, bro.
What's going on, bro? Them niggas is lost, man. I'm in space, bro. They're not even in space, but they feel like they're in space because they see something in the sky that's usually not there. Of course, it's going to get them excited. Like,
the US government said they do not know. In 2021, they released a report. It said there are no extraterrestrial links to these
They come in peace.
So there's simply too little information to make a decision. But American lawmakers were not satisfied. They saw this as a cover-up, so they called for these hearings, and it has stirred up the hornet's nest again. Do aliens exist? Honestly, we don't know. And if you ask me, there are far bigger and more urgent questions that we need to answer first.
The best way to burn fat and get shredded is not keto, paleo.
Just let me know.
better videos now. We have better videos. So let me go to the newest ones.
Welcome back, truth seekers. You get ready to have your mind blown as we dive into the mysterious world of unidentified flying objects. Maybe we dive up. Today, we're bringing you the top 5 unexplained UFO sightings caught on camera in 2023, where we'll explore astonishing encounters that defy all rational explanation, even though I will try. Bizarre lights dancing in the night sky, jaw-dropping close encounters. Embark on a journey that'll leave you questioning the boundaries of the universe. Hey, you buckle up, because this is gonna make your hair stand on end. Get ready to witness the extraordinary. And you let me know down below in the comments which of these sightings has you most convinced that there are little grays on this planet walking among us. Number 5, the USS Omaha. Coming up first today on our list of unexplained UFO sightings on camera is going to be this wild footage taken off the coast of San Diego from on board the Navy ship USS Omaha. The video footage was shot on an FLIR camera, which is an incredibly expensive, fancy bit of tech. It's a thermal camera to detect heat. It's perfect for this sort of thing. And if you want one for yourself, civilians can buy these cameras. They cost $300,000. That's about 1 month's rent in Toronto. Very fair. In the footage, we can see what looks to be a sphere-like object flying over the ship before entering the water. The Omaha claimed that for days before this incident was recorded, they were seeing drone-like objects flying around their ship that the crew had no knowledge of. This footage was taken from a crew member.
Yes, and about the drones. I know humans created that, but I feel like we got the inspiration from them, from the aliens. Because, you know, drone, it looks like a flying saucer in a way. We have so many inspirations by them, you feel me? I think they told us how to use the jet, you know, how to update the jet engines and how to go faster. And all that shit with space and all that with Elon Musk. He knows aliens exist.
Trying to ascertain what it was that they were dealing with. Now there is some audio on the clip and it's illuminating. When the object goes into the water, we hear the sailors say mark, bearing, and range, meaning that the sailors on the ship were making a note of the coordinates and location where it went in, suggesting that maybe a submarine was sent in to recover or discover whatever was going on in there. Did it even submerge in the water, or does it seem a bit too like the craft outright disappears going into the water? I wish so bad we could get some more angles on this, or a follow-up to be able to find out what this was. Until then, we just have this strange footage to go off of and what speculation we have at home. There's a wild conspiracy theory that I just found out recently and I love, and we'll mention it a few times in this video, about a secret UFO construction facility under the water. Maybe this drone was heading on home. Who knows? And if you're looking for way more conspiracy theories about really anything, aliens, Bigfoot, JFK, you name it, we got all of that and then some on Top 5 Scary. We really have a video on just about anything and everything you can think of that's freaky and eeky. So hit subscribe, make sure you hit that little bell so you don't miss a scream, but if you wouldn't mind, do that at the end of this video, because I got 4 more stories of UFO sightings coming up for you right now. Whew, number 4. Our next clip comes to us from the UFO subreddit, and it was posted by user TheFiro, saying, "This video was taken by a good friend of mine on a flight to El Paso, and as soon as it gets noticed, it's gone." In the video, we can see we're in the passenger seat of a jet, high above the ground. And flying around the windows is an unexplained object zipping around at high speeds. Saucer-like object, looking a bit like maybe it was a frisbee that got tossed into the air by Godzilla. Now, it does definitely look like a classic flying saucer, like what you imagine a UFO to be, but not as many people were convinced. More than a few people in the comments section for this one were a little skeptical of this high-flying footage. Several commenters suggested that this flying saucer is actually little more than a reflection of something from inside the plane's cabin, suggesting that if you pause enough and look right in the video, you can see the object's reflection being repeated in the window pane. Now, there are just as many people suggesting that it is a solid object existing outside the plane. The trouble is, we've been given
this game, you're not ready for it.
very limited footage, and it's hard to tell, and there was no follow-up by the original poster to provide any more details, so we only have this little excerpt that we've been given. Whenever there's a scenario like this, I do like to leave it up to you, my faithful YouTube comment audience. What do you think? Is this a flying saucer soaring above the clouds, or just a reflection of some light? I could honestly go either way with this one. I will say it could easily be explainable as a reflection, but I also feel like the object has a certain weight to it. I don't know. I'm directly in the middle for this one. I'm a centrist on this video. It should have been the number 3 point, but it wasn't. Anyway, jury's out. Please let me know what you think of this. Let's move on to number 3. Number 3, New Delhi. Coming up next is going to be this clip shared online with the caption, "A weird set of lights above New Delhi." Take a look-see. So in the clip, pretty clearly we can see, yeah, there's some strange lights going on in the night sky above New Delhi. There's a scattering of lights above the city's horizon. Now, immediately your first thought might be that it's drones, which is a reasonable assumption when it comes to UFO stuff. I feel like several videos that come out of little glowing lights dashing across the night sky usually end up being civilian drones. However, the original poster clarified that drones are illegal in India and aren't widespread at all for civilians. And on top of that, the area that's being filmed is said to be in the slums, where it's incredibly unlikely that anyone would have access to drones. The poster added this little bit of context with the video. I saw this today around 8 p.m. in New Delhi with a friend. It was massive. This cannot be a building, as there is no tall building in that direction, only slums with heights of about 4 to 5 floors, yet this building looked as tall as the Burj Khalifa. There was a moderate wind going on, and I thought, if it's drones, why aren't they swaying? Not to forget, drones are illegal in India and especially in New Delhi. It looked massive in the sky. I wish the camera saw what my eyes could see. It could absolutely blow me away. I've been to drone shows, but this looked nothing like it. Any idea what this could be? Also, I agree. I wish our cameras did just capture exactly what our eyes saw. It would make all this UFO stuff so much easier. And also, I would finally get a nice picture of the moon to have on my phone. Now, some people in the comment section on this clip suggested that maybe it was a laser light show, but that's just speculation and nothing concrete. Well, one particularly good suggestion from a commenter that did make me laugh said that the original poster should have ran towards the lights to see what happens and investigate up close and personal, you know? Worst case, yeah, you get abducted, never see your friends, family, or home planet again, but you also would get the ride of a lifetime, and if you do survive to come back home, you get an amazing story to tell people. So live a little. Number 2, Garden Ridge. Our next offering for your entertainment, and I hope your amusement, is this short clip that was uploaded to YouTube pretty recently. UFO spotted over Garden Ridge, Texas. In this clip, we can see a somewhat strange flying object that looks a bit like a cocoon being propelled forward, or maybe even a beehive or something. The entity has no propulsion or trails behind it, which really doesn't explain how it's moving forward so fast. Some sort of anti-gravity manipulation technology that I don't understand. Is that too wild to speculate that an alien has that? Now, we've seen cocoon-like UFOs a few times doing these videos, actually. We saw them a bunch. I don't know if you remember, one of them turned out to be Mr. Peanut, but most of them are UFOs. I'd say after triangle UFOs or little light clusters, I probably see videos of little cocoon-like UFOs like this more than any other kind. So what are these cocoon-like UFOs that keep appearing, and why do they all look so similar? And this lack of propulsion too is really puzzling me. Now, the original poster returned after the fact to add a little bit of clarity in the comments. He said the object was moving with the wind, not against it, so maybe it's possible it's something like a weather balloon that has been swept up in an air current. That's usually what most of these clips turn out to be. I would love to see a statistic on how many UFO sightings are actually weather balloons, because I suspect it's probably like 99%. Another commenter suggested that this could be an object heading towards Randolph Air Force Base, speculating that the UAP seen in this video could be a manned jetpack or a very tiny stealth craft of some kind, which would be pretty cool.
We gotta be careful for like what the news is showing us, what they allowing us to see, because everything is controlled by them, by the elites. So you see them UFOs, they might be aliens, or they might be the government themselves, you know, like the guy said, it might be a human there piloting it, flying that shit, you know, trying to scare us. Because fear, they use fear as a tactic to control us. They want us stuck. They don't want us to do shit, my nigga. They want us broke, unhappy, all of that shit. And that UFO shit that's just gonna get niggas more crazy. And all that type of shit, man. Listen, stay positive. Believe in yourself. Spirituality is key. And if you believe in yourself, God believes in you. If you believe in yourself, the universe believes in you. And you feel me? Knowledge is power. But let's not let these aliens scare us. Like I used to be scared of aliens, and I seen how old the Earths is. Like there's different Earths. We found mad Earths. There's like close to the Earth. You feel me? That we could live in. You feel me? It's called Kepler. We found a lot of Kepler planets and X planets and stuff like that. Planets we could live on. But man, listen, the elites, they want to move out so they can enslave us here on Earth. You feel me? It's a whole thing to it. You feel me?
Or even some sort of new drone technology the US military is developing. Now, among other things though, the original uploader did admit and suggest that this really could just be a balloon, suggested that he thought it might be attached to a floral arrangement that somebody let go of. Hey, maybe an alien was picking up a lot.
Like the elite's plan, in my opinion, I think they could, I think they're trying to go to space and leave us on Earth. And Earth, because, you know, the pollution, it's not us, you feel me? The climate change is not us. It's the whole galaxy is with the heat waves and all that what's going on. The sun is a dwarf star, and it's showing like solar flares. Is going at all the planets. And basically, we making it worse by the plastic and all that, and the oil and the fossil fuels. We making it worse. We making the climate change situation worse. But there was nothing we could do about that. You feel me? And they know that. So climate change is not even real. You feel me? We only damaging the planet maybe 10%. Then the rest of the pollution and all that's coming from space. It's coming from our sun and our galaxy. That's why they're trying to move out, and basically they're trying to go to Mars. They're trying to colonize on Mars. They're trying to colonize in the moon, and basically start a civilization there. And then they want to go farther beyond that. They want to go to one of the planets that's like an Earth-like planet, like I was telling you before, like a Kepler, and the other planets, an exoplanet. They're trying to move out there, and basically whoever stays on Earth is gonna be like slaves. Earth is gonna be like a slave. It's gonna be a slave planet. Basically, we're gonna work. People on Earth, we're working. We're gonna pay taxes with all that for the elites, for they could move out and all that, and they could. And it's gonna be Earth is gonna be one big ass plantation. You feel me? We all gonna be having chips inside. We're gonna be maybe cyborgs. There's gonna be a lot of stuff. You feel me? Technology is gonna advance a lot. Thank God, I love technology, but they still gonna enslave us because you need money. You need a lot of money now, especially, you feel me, to be in their system and to get out. You feel me? Like if they're leaving the planet, it must be a reason. There's a lot of stuff going on beyond the veil, beyond just us trying to go to space just to explore it, and you know, and to take resources from space. It's much more than that. They wanna kill us. They wanna enslave us. I can't even imagine a planet like that, you feel me? All of us being enslaved. Just for them to colonize other planets and live better than us. And they're gonna look, you know? They're gonna look down on us and stuff like that. That would be crazy. I hope by that time, if that time happens where, you know, where humanity comes to that point, I hope we have some sort of technology, like some sort of weapons that I could have like some sort of Gundam. You know, the anime Gundam, the Gundam anime. I hope we have some sort of technology like that for if I could just get one of those and start becoming a rebel. If they could travel to space, you know, I'm gonna build a Gundam to go to space specifically, cause I ain't trying to get left on Earth. You feel me? But it's crazy, man.
Last minute Valentine's Day gift, or hey, maybe an alien.
The UFO, them creating this fake UFO invasion and fake UFO sightings, they creating more fear for us to promote their agenda. Their agenda is to get the fuck out this planet and keep us enslaved, keep us in fear, keep us broke, keep us unhappy. They might put the chip on us too. The Neuralink, you feel me? The metaverse, the web 3.0, all this got to do with their agenda, you feel me?
Had to apologize to someone, you know? Maybe a probing went wrong and a little flowers was the only thing that could smooth it over. I wonder if they'll keep that in the video. Number 1, the A-10 over Arizona. And coming up at our final spot today for crazy UFO footage is going to be this dramatic footage of a spherical UAP being filmed tailing an A-10 aircraft over Arizona. The footage was filmed by a mobile scope truck recorded by the DHS, that's the Department of Homeland Security. The craft caught on camera is one of unknown origins. Well, obviously, that's why it's a UFO. The U doesn't stand for usual, it's unidentified. Now, there's really not a lot to go on from this clip, as the original uploader didn't provide a ton of insight or backstory beyond the short clip, so we're left with mostly speculation. Similar to the previous clip, I have to wonder maybe if this is a drone of some kind due to its size in comparison to the rest of the craft, which dwarfs it. Could this be an unmanned craft? Is someone piloting it from a remote location far away? Now, earlier in the video, I quickly shouted out a conspiracy which I recently discovered, and I hope we can do like a full video on it because it was fascinating, saying that a majority of the crafts that we see in UFO videos are scout crafts that come from a construction facility hidden somewhere deep beneath the ocean from a civilization that predates ours. This advanced technological facility is manned by an artificial intelligence that keeps it running autonomously and produces these small crafts naturally to scout out the planet and, well, I don't know yet what they're doing, but something alien. Now, obviously, that is a very, very, very tinfoil hat theory. I got it from a less than reputable website, but it is a ton of fun to speculate on and would certainly make sense why there are so many sightings of these similar objects if they were all literally coming from the same factory line. And also, wouldn't that just be the nicest, I don't know, funniest little ironic cap to aliens if we're spending all our time looking up, but they've been below us the whole time? Anyway, something to think about. That's all she wrote for this one, my ghouls and goblins. Creep on, creeping on, and I'll see you in the next one, okay? Take it easy now.
I had enough aliens. I want to talk about real quick the Gilly the Kid situation. Recently, his son passed away. The same week he signed $100 million deal. And I want to know, was it a blood sacrifice? Was it worth it? Him getting that money and what happened to his kid? Isn't that strange that his son died during that process? During the same week that happened? There's things like that I want to know that we're going to watch some videos on and I'm going to react to it. And I want to know, what's your thoughts about Gilly the Kid and his situation? I really feel sorry. I really feel sorry, like, for like him and his family for what happened. But I felt like his son, he was an industry plant and he knew better. His father knew better. Everybody in their circle knew better. Gilly the Kid, he been in the rap game. He been in Philly his whole life. He been in the rap game for 20 years plus, making money untouched. And now this happened. So I want to know what happened, and I want to know why this guy Campbell, Hassan Campbell, been coming at him, and people's been coming at him because he's been reacting to this shit hard, and I feel him because the streets is whack, the streets is all negative, but you know, I feel like he's kind of disrespecting Gilly the Kid in a way because he keep making videos about him and, you know, keep putting his name on his name in his mouth. Let's get to that video. First, my son Campbell. I don't know what happened.